Recording in progress. You know what that means. Connor, do you know what it means?
No. Can you tell me?
It means we're back for another episode of the Designated Players Podcast. What are we on 15 now?
Season 2, 15.
Season 2, episode 15. What is that? That's episode
a lot.
59, I think. I think it's 59.
Episode a lot.
And episode a lot. That's how we should do that. We should just set it up and be like, this is season 2, episode a lot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it. A bit different today. Welcome everybody back to season 2, episode 15 of the Designated Players Podcast. We are back with a different episode. You guys know us as an MLS podcast. We're going to do things a bit different today, and I'll just jump right into it. Is Jacob deGrom the best pitcher in the world?
That's not a debate. Let's just move on.
I'm about to say that's too short of an episode, isn't it? Best pitcher in New York, best pitcher in baseball. This man is unreal. And they have the audacity to check him for foreign substance today. Can you believe that?
Listen, I don't blame them. When you pitch as well as him, you should be testing his birth certificate to see if he's actually from this planet.
My guy, he is unreal. Okay, but we should do a baseball podcast just around Jacob deGrom.
We should just throw in a random baseball podcast on this one. Just throw it in randomly at some point.
That should be our giveaway. If you tell us what minute you listen to the Jacob deGrom segment, you get like mad props or something. I don't know. No, so we're gonna do a focus on USMNT this week. It's been a slow couple of weeks for MLS because of international break, right? Euros are on, Copa America's on, Nations League was on a couple weeks ago, into some friendlies. There was just so much going on. MLS took a break, which is all cool. I needed time to catch up to Connor in fantasy anyway. Yeah, that's right. I passed you this week.
Yeah, I passed you right back, though. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
I did. Go take a look.
I will as we continue to talk. But before we get into all that, we'll be talking about USMNT fixtures over the past couple of weeks, as well as the preliminary Gold Cup roster, and maybe talking about who we want to see make that Gold Cup squad. So before we do any of that, of course, scarf of the week, right?
Yeah.
Scarf of the week. What are you rocking?
Well, I feel like I had to bring this out after their second rebranding. But we have the original, the OG Chicago Fire. Also, it fit because it was red, white, and blue. So
that's cool. Mine was a no-brainer, obviously. USMNT, Copa America, Centenario scarf. I need to get new scarves. I've been slacking ever since we went and I had like my big rush of like all these new scarves, and then I kind of just like, I'll get later, and later never came. Just a heads up on the fantasy front, by the way, double game week for everybody. So this will be big. We'll just have to pick players who play against Cincy, Chicago, and Vancouver, and you'll be all right.
Someone's below Vancouver, I think, in the West, but I forget. One of the new teams, right?
No, I don't think so.
Did I lose you?
Oh, what's it? Delos?
Yeah.
God, they are just awful this year. They're so bad. Now, again, you could have told me they were in first place. I wouldn't believe you. No, I wouldn't, because Seattle's good.
Yes.
But, oh, man, you did pass me. How's that happen?
I did.
How's that?
I had a bunch of guys left to go at the end of the day. Well, not a bunch, but a few.
Yeah, I lucked out, man. I picked Dominguez. I picked Stuver, and I had Gianluca Busio as well. And then what really killed me was I captained who'd I captain? Reynoso, and he didn't even start. He killed me there. If I put it on heel, it was game over. But
yeah,
alas,
but you didn't.
Here I am being awful. Yeah, no, big fan of that. And then Adam's still up there in sixth, but we're about 40 points behind him. You're about 30 points. I'm about 40 points. And then Ryan Anderson in first with 97 points this week. Carlos Hill is his captain because, of course. And then
a fortune teller and knows what the future holds.
Ridiculous. But okay, after that, I'm going to turn this over to you. Go ahead and lay out how you want to do this. This is your episode idea, so take it away, Mr. Left.
All right. Well, I mean, it's been a while since we've really done anything on recorded episode in terms of the men's national team. So I figured now that everything kind of settled down a bit, it's a good time to just kind of recap everything that was going on. And then with the preliminary Gold Cup roster coming out, good opportunity for us to put more of our much wanted 2 cents into who we think should make the roster, because I know everybody is dying to hear who we would think.
Needs to hear it. To hear it.
So I figured we'll start with the recent games that the U.S. has played. So we kind of just recap, how they played, maybe zone in a little bit on some of the individual performances, and then just maybe like a general outlook, just like over the team and how things are looking moving forward. So I guess we can start back to, I don't want to go too far back. I think we could maybe start with
Honduras, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to throw the Switzerland one in there.
I didn't see the Switzerland game. I was coaching.
I didn't see it either.
And there are no highlights for it or anything, so we could probably skip that. They lost. It doesn't matter. We don't talk about games we lost.
Yeah, I mean, they don't exist, but
no. That's the America way, right?
Yeah. So then we'll start off with the first game this year of the CONCACAF Nations League. So the semifinal against Honduras. And, I feel like there was a lot after watching that game. I don't think people felt super sure about our chances against Mexico going into the final, because it's a team that on paper you think we'd be able to beat and not have too many problems with. But it took a late winner for us to get through.
From a sub, right? Not even a starter. Not even our starting. Our wonder year starters couldn't put a ball away against Honduras. Yeah. So for me, and I think for a lot of people, the big highlight is in the absence of Tyler Adams, it is Greggy Boy's I'm not going to say incompetence. It's his commitment to starting Jackson Ewell as a 6, which just kills us. He doesn't create enough space. He's too slow on the ball. His gameplay is not bad, but it's not international level. You watch it all the time. How many times did they either intercept one of his passes or straight up just take the ball off him when he has his back? He's facing his own goal. They're playing into his feet. It should be 2 touches into your feet, out to either your center back, your outside back, or you turn, and then you go forward. He took it 3 touches to either get turned or make his decision. They picked the ball off and they went forward on him. It's not good. It's not good enough. And that is the biggest worry for me is Tyler Adams has been naturally injury prone. We know that. Who else could we put there? I'm not a fan of Kellen Acosta as my 6. I'm more of a fan of him at right back or left back. I'm just kidding. Please don't take that seriously. Right, McKinney's or do whatever you want. Well, come at me. What are you gonna do? Weston McKinney is clearly too good going forward to hold him back as a 6. And it leaves you wondering who else we have left. And even just a quick look at the natural number 6s according to Transfer Market, because I did this. I took this. I took a gander at this, if you will. right after that game, because the first thing I needed to figure out was what is going on and who else can we use. And if you look at choose year.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty thin at that position.
Which is weird because it feels like it isn't, right?
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, someone I would want to see if Tyler Adams was out is maybe Andres Perea.
I was thinking about him too. Haven't seen enough of him. Only 20 years old, and honestly, again, part of the team that could not get the result with the U20s, right? Or the U23s at the Olympics. Could not fill that role, which kind of hurt us, right? It hurt us a lot. And you're right, there's not a lot there. Also, do you know Shaq Moore is playing for Tenerife now in the second division? Remember when Shaq Moore was like...
He like blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was like for two years, he was like, this is the next right back of the future. And then Serginho Dest was like, hey, what's up?
Really?
No, but yeah, right. So he is not the answer at 6. And if he's our backup defensive mid, we're going to have some issues. So the question now is, if Tyler Adams can't go, are we looking at a formation change? Do we need to maybe think about something that we did in the Mexico game, right? Go 5 at the back, overload your midfield with inverted wing backs, right? So you have 3 in the back. I don't have my whiteboard with me. It's over there, but I'm not going to get it. 3 in the back. You got your 2 wingers here, and then your 2 midfielders in front. Your wingers come inside, create those overloads. Or the way that Gregg does it, which I still don't like, is shoot your wing backs up to be wingers, and then your wingers come to be center mids. I don't like that way personally, but he's six wins, 1 loss in 2021, and that 1 loss was to Switzerland. So I'm not too upset. But right, if you put, let's say, Roldan and Leggett, or Roldan and Aronson, or Roldan, Roldan's a really good 2-way, or Roldan and McKinney, right? If you can take those players and allow somebody like Kyle Duncan or Anthony Robinson or Reggie Cannon, or somebody has George Bello here. I don't think George Bello is the answer yet. But take players like that who have some decent ability going forward, and then take players like Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Aronson, if you want to put him in that spot too, and have them turn into center midfielders. That is another way you can go. And I think that was a good adjustment out of him from the Honduras game to the Mexico game. I thought that was a really good pickup from him. I was worried that it was going to turn into what Northern Ireland was, where we couldn't keep the ball and then 1 turnover, it's a 1-on-1. But not the case, right? We were able to come out on top. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, it does worry me a little bit that we're a little thin at one of the most important positions on the pitch, but I'm confident that some of the players in our pipeline are going to develop, right? Who do you want to see the next person up? I guess is a good question there.
Just in any position, or that specific
at the 6, because there are a few of them.
That's a good question. I definitely agree with you in not dropping McKinney down that deep. I would say I haven't watched enough of him to know if he plays this position or even like plays it well, but maybe Owen Otasowie.
I believe he's a right back. I think he can play in the 6, but he was listed as a right back when Red Bull were looking to get him back.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm thinking of a different person.
I'm not sure who you're thinking of.
I am thinking of. Oh, this is gonna kill me. You keep talking. Yes, Otasowie can be in there. He does look like somebody who can be the next guy up. Oh man, now it's gonna piss me off. Now I got to figure out who this guy was.
My only worry about him is I don't know how much game time he's getting because he's with Wolves. So I know he's getting sporadic game time. Granted, he's still really young, so it shouldn't be the end of the world, but you can't just sit on the bench forever.
Right.
And I'm not even sure who else really plays in that position. I don't know if Johnny Cardoso does.
I got it.
I don't know if Tessman drops that deep.
He can. Matt Olasunde.
Okay.
He was on Man United. And then because he was a Red Bull Academy product, we were trying to get him back. But yeah, so that's who I was thinking of. Otasawi is yes, the defensive midfielder from Wolves. The other person I'm thinking is James Sands, right? I think James Sands has learned a lot of Alex Ring. Yes. Alex Ring has taught him a lot, and he's played next to guys like Keaton Parks and Maxi Morales, where obviously the men's national team level is not the same as MLS level. Nobody's saying that. But in terms of the way that the players around him are, right, you've got a pretty good box-to-box guy in Keaton Parks that mimics what McKinney can do in terms of physical ability, not clearly technically, but and then you've also got Maxi, who mimics something like a Gio Reyna or an Aronson or any of those attacking midfield. Yunus Musa we'll use as a good example. So he knows how to fill that role, and I think he's done it really well. And he also has center back ability. There are a lot of chances for him, and I think he's definitely shown that he can fill that spot. And I think he, at the very least, deserves a shot. It may not work out. Cool, whatever. Don't care. I think it's about time we start figuring out who we can go to in a time of need if Tyler Adams can't go.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think I forgot about him because he's not on the list that I'm looking at the moment, but I'm absolutely on board with James Sands absolutely getting a shot if Tyler Adams is out. I think he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably the next closest to like matching Tyler Adams' level at that position. Because I just, I don't know too much about the rest of them to know for sure if those guys are on that same playing field. But yeah, I mean that's definitely someone that we should be keeping an eye on.
And I think I have to think he's in the conversation. Oh my God, this is disgusting. I'm looking at a 2018 poll for who's the best box-to-box midfielder on the men's national team. 3% of people said Michael Bradley. So I'm going to click off of this before I get really upset.
Okay, so we talked a decent amount about the Mexico-USA game, so I don't want to spend too much time there.
Yeah.
And then we had the last friendly against Costa Rica, in which I think we looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, another one where I didn't get to it. I was at work for most of it. However, the result was something to be proud of, absolutely. And again, I've had people talk all the time. Oh, it's just Costa Rica's B team. It's just Honduras. It's just this. It's just that. And then people start to question why we can't make the World Cup. We can't make the World Cup because we can't beat those teams. So to be happy that we have taken down teams like that is expected and important. Because if we're not happy and we're not excited about it and we just expect it to happen, then we're going to be even more disappointed when we can't. So it's super important there. I think it's a really good showing by a team. Yes, again, didn't go up against their starting team, right? A few MLS guys in there. Joel Campbell, who was like rumored to MLS like 19 times over the past 4 years, never made his move, which is cool. Johan Venegas, who's MLS legend, and oh goodness, where did Venegas play? Was he Minnesota and Montreal? Yep. So, excuse me. It wasn't their starting 11. Keller Navas wasn't in goal. Some of their center backs were a little weak. Their outside backs were weak. Brian Oviedo didn't play. Randall Leal didn't play. Alan Cruz didn't play. Lassiter didn't play. I mean, they all came off the bench, but again, not you didn't have your best starting. But it's important to note, as when you go up against weak teams, you're meant to put them on. You're meant to have these types of score lines, and the fact that we were able to do that is super important. Because again, if we walked away with this thing 1-0, anybody looking at that is like, oh, we beat Costa Rica 1-0. But if you look just one level deeper, you realize we beat Costa Rica's B team 1-0. So again, you take everything with a grain of salt. The fact that these guys were able to go out there and do what they were meant to do is a good sign. Now, yeah, good sign.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. It's like this wasn't exactly Costa Rica's best team, but at the same time, it's not like we were fielding our best team either. I mean, we were missing no Stefan, no Brooks, no Dest. Gio came on as a sub. No Pulisic, no McKinney, no Sargent.
No David Ochoa.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a testament to something that we've all kind of realized at this point, seeing the amount of players that are associated with the squad. It's just how crazy deep this pool is of players. I mean, it's Absolutely. I know we just talked about the one position that is kind of thin, but if you look everywhere else on the field, it's just, this team is just stacked with talent. And that's a great thing, is it's like, you're not going to be stuck with guys that are playing poorly at the moment, because there's always another guy that's going to be playing better. He'll come in and replace you. So you got to be on your A game. We're not going to be sending out, Michael Bradley and Josie Altidore every game, because that's the best that we have and nobody else is even close.
Yeah. And that's the important part, right? That's how Man City does it. That's how Barcelona used to do it for the longest time. Is great. Have one bad game. I dare you, because you'll never play again, because I've got 4 guys on the bench who can play your spot better than you. And that's just going to keep pushing people to be better. And if not, they'll be replaced with somebody who's better, which is great for the way that the team rolls, right? But I mean, you look at it, right? Our goalkeeper situation is Stefan. You got to think Ethan Horvath is number 2 after what he did. And then you got Matt Turner at number 3. And Matt Turner didn't even make this roster, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, David Ochoa, I think he's kind of like that Sean Johnson, Bill Hamid type of, he's good, but he's not number 1 good, right? You look at your right back spot, Reggie Cannon, Serginho Dest, Brian Reynolds, Kellen Acosta, obviously. Your center backs, McKenzie, Zimmerman, Aaron Long when he's healthy, Brooks. When he's, and Brooks is phenomenal. I saw him play really for the first time in that Mexico game, for the first time in a while. He was so good.
Yeah, got Chris Richards coming up too.
Richards, Justin Shea.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many. Left back, maybe one of another weaker spot, Robinson, Yedlin, and that's, like I said, you can name a few other people.
Yeah, there's like a couple of young guys there. Chase Gasper, George Bello.
George Bello is probably the next guy up. I think Gasper is probably
Sam Vines.
I like Sam Vines. You could put Desty there too. We didn't even talk about Dest because he was so good we forgot about him. Chris Gloucester. Yeah, Chris Gloucester maybe if he can start performing a little bit on loan here. Oh man, I'm done. We're moving on. I just looked at a list of men's national team potential left backs, and Ryan Holling's going to be on it, so we're moving on.
Let's go.
I'm going to be sick on camera. I'm going to be sick on camera. That's awesome. That's angry. That makes me angry. Yeah, so there's there again. That's just your back line, right? You talk about your go ahead and talk about your center mid spot, right? We talked about the CDM spot, but you're looking at Musa, McKinney, Pulisic can play in that spot. Adams, when he's healthy, just a stupid amount of talent there. Kellen Acosta, James Sands coming up. Your wingers, Reyna, Weah, Aronson, Pooley. That's just 4 right there that can just go on there. And then your striker spot is also stupid deep.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Sargent, DK, Sibachu are just your 3 right there. And any one of those 3 can go. And honestly, I think Josh Sargent might have lost his spot this tournament because he can't find the net for the life of him, which he might just be going through something. That's, that is what it is. But, again, just like we talked about, if you can't do it, somebody else will.
Yep.
It's plain and simple.
And that somebody is probably Daryl DK.
You have to think, man. He fits that Josie Altidore mold really well, which is what they like to play with. Yeah, you have to think. You have to think that's probably the next guy up, right? Jossie's artist is probably still in that conversation as long as Berhalter's there.
Yeah,
I think Joe's is done.
I'm not opposed to it, but I know people will obviously not like that because it's an MLS guy.
Yeah.
But listen, if you're bringing an experienced guy, I'm glad it's Zardes over some of the other options.
Yeah, you got Bobby Wood still in the mix if he can start kicking off at RSL. Jeremy Abova, see if he can get that move away. Who made this list? Why is Kyrie Shelton on this list? No.
You never know. Chris Mueller.
Chris Mueller can probably play on that wing spot, I think.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at like these U17 guys, Ricardo Pepe, Jesus Ferreira, players that played at the U23. You've got tons of potential there, but they have to progress, right? They have to progress.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just as an overall sense of that time period where the US was just playing, or just throughout 2021 in general. It's a lot of really good things to take away. I mean, we beat every team that we're going to have to beat in order to make the World Cup. Right. I mean, I think we can people will be unhappy with the performances against Switzerland and Northern Ireland, but really at the moment, that's not as important. The first step is making the World Cup, and that's going to be beating teams like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Costa Rica, Mexico. So we have to be able to beat them. And this team right now has proven that they're going to beat them and they're going to be competitive. And I mean, with the exception of the 2 Nations League games, they really have beaten these teams that we have to beat. They've beaten them pretty good. So
I think it's really important to keep in mind that when it comes to World Cup qualifying, when it comes to Nations League, when it comes to Gold Cup, it's almost like a league game for a school. There are no easy games. Everybody's going to come out and play you as hard as you can. I mean, look at. I mean, we're in the middle of the Euros right now, right? Look at France versus. Oh, excuse me. Look at France versus Hungary, right? 1-1, 1-1, and Hungary was given no chance. But they came out and they wanted to get a point. They did. So the same thing is going to happen with Nations League. Same thing is going to happen World Cup qualifying. They're going to come out and they're going to play you. Nobody's going to roll over because you're the big bad United States who have this big golden era coming up. They're going to come over and say, F you, we're going to beat you and make you look silly. So you have to be up for the challenge. And I think they are. I think Pulisic being there when we failed last time is ready to take over and never let it happen again. There's a change of culture there. You can kind of feel it the way they play, right? When you watched 2018, 2019 USMNT, it was very much, oh goodness, this is awful. This is boring to watch. It's slow. Nobody cares. There's no heart. You come back in 2020 that first game against Portugal. I remember that game. I watched it 1-1. And it just felt it was the first game we brought all the youth in, and it just felt different. It felt like, okay, this is the time. This is the time we're going to push it. So our hope is that they can continue to push on, but it's a learning process. It's a building process. And if we wanted to just go watch teams be good, we'd go be fans of England or something. I don't know.
You said watch teams be good.
Let me rephrase that. If I wanted to watch teams be good, like all the time with no learning curves, no bumps, because you're going to have that still, right? We're going to go into a World Cup qualifying game. We're going to lose. We are not going to go through this perfect. And it's going to be against a team like Trinidad. It's going to be against a team like Honduras, because these guys don't know how to go to those areas and play in those areas, right? You know, going to Honduras is one of the toughest games to play. Going to Costa Rica is a tough game to play because the fans and the atmosphere are tough. Going to play at Azteca is something that you cannot imagine until you're there. So we have to be ready for that, right? We need to be ready to see it happen, not overreact, and still back the boys. That is where I was trying to go with that.
I think it's important for them to have that same sentiment too. You know,
correct.
Odds are you're not going to go through the entire stages winning every single game. Like there's likely going to be games where you slip up and you don't play well, and it's going to happen. And I think it's really important for them to not take it to heart and just rebound and get ready for the next game. Brand new start, brand new game. Don't let the last game hang over you.
Correct. Clean sheet. Don't worry about it. Just go out and play the next one. And even when we win, it's the same mindset. It doesn't matter if you just beat Martinique 4-0. Next game, you need to be perfect. There's no easy route there. Mets update. Joey Lucchesi has a tear in his UCL. So Tommy John for that guy. So there's another injury to add to the list. So if you are listening at this minute, I don't know what minute it is, but if you're listening at this minute, shout us out, Joey Lucchesi, and you will get a high five.
That's going to be tough to do from Kentucky.
That's all right. So yeah, the mindset of the men's national team needs to be next game up. Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter, next game up. Because if you and again, I've been there as a 19 or 20-year-old soccer player where you have one game and you get killed and you're like, all right, well, my season's over. We're awful. We don't want, having that mental and emotional ability to get through things like that is what makes you a great team. And the same thing to have that maturity when you win, to celebrate, be happy about it. And then as soon as it's over, it's right to the next one. You go back to work the same day or the day after, or whatever it is, you go back as if nothing ever happened. That is what needs to be now developed, right? I think they showed really good emotional and mature strength in that Mexico game when, they were getting things thrown at them. They were having people, slide tackle from behind and kick out and doing all this stuff. They showed really good strength to just let it go. That needs to continue through World Cup qualifying. This is going to be a roller coaster for them. They have to be ready for it.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to say on this is I think the U.S. team should be watching the Euros right now, because look at the two big European teams that just missed the last World Cup. Look at how they are performing right now in the Euros.
Yep.
These are two teams that know what it's like to lose heartbreakers, and they are not allowing themselves to be in that situation again. And I think the U.S. has got to be exactly like that when it comes to their international games.
That's right. Yeah.
You got to rebound just like the Netherlands and Italy have done.
Yeah, Italy have looked so good. Italy are one of my favorite teams to watch. They are just I think they're about to make a really good run for it. Sorry, I know we're not going into the Euros.
He's daydreaming about Italy right now.
Oh my God, they're just because it is exemplifying everything I love about team football, right? Every single one of them are there for each other. They don't give a damn about the popularity or the praise or who scores the goals or whatever. The biggest thing that I'd love to see, and I saw it was a tweet about it or something, but it was like the 89th minute in their first game against
They played Turkey.
Turkey. And they were up 3-0 and Turkey going on a breakaway. Bonucci, or it might have been Chiellini. Chiellini covers like a 60-yard full sprint, slide tackle block, gets up and celebrates like he just scored the game-winning goal of the World Cup. And that is what it's about, right? That goal goes in, they still win, nobody cares. But the fact that they are putting, like you said, everything on the line to make sure that they never get embarrassed again is just, it's so good. And you're right. That's what the national team has to do. And I think they have to a degree, but again, they're still young, right? You've got John Brooks who's doing it to a degree, but you don't have the Chiellinis or we'll call him the Donnarumma who's been there. You see that stat about him, by the way? Side note before we move on.
Yeah.
He's been playing since 16. He's now 24. In 8 years of playing for the Italian national team, he has not played a single game where he's given up more than one goal.
And how many years he's been playing for the Italian national team?
Knock it off, Grace. 8 years, I believe. I think he started Donnarumma.
I'm surprised he's been playing for 20 plus years and he's only played for the Italian national team for 8 years.
He is. When did Donnarumma national team debut?
Oh, you know what? Never mind. Thinking of the wrong. I'm thinking of Buffon.
Oh man, Buffon. Buffon, I love that guy. He is my favorite goalkeeper of all time, outside of Luis Robles. But like when I started being a goalkeeper, Buffon was my guy. It was like, this is the guy you want to be when you grow up.
That's why I was surprised. I was like, Buffon's only been playing for Italy for 8 years.
Yeah, so he started in 2016. And now it's 2021, so 5 years. It was 2016, not age 16, my bad. So 2016, he has made 29 appearances and 0 times has he given up more than 2 goals. Things you love to see.
Yeah. All right. Well, did you have anything else to add on the men's national team?
I say it's a good thing you brought me back. So I was about to go down a whole nother rabbit hole with that. God, I could talk Italian national team goalkeepers forever. So good. No, I don't on there. The only thing I would say is keep an eye on the way that Gregg does rotation and formation changes. I think those are the 2 big ones we're going to see, because he's going to try and, when he plays teams like Martinique, when he plays teams like, who's the team that just made Jamaica, right? Jamaica just made the octagon.
What?
So you know how they used to call it the Hex? The World Cup
kind of, yeah.
So World Cup qualifying was called the Hex. It was the best 6 teams in CONCACAF.
Oh, yeah, because it was 6 and now it's 8.
So they call it the octagon.
Got it.
All right, so it's El Salvador, Jamaica, and Panama are kind of like your 3. We should be able to get by these guys pretty easily. I think in those games, especially games at home, you'll see a lot of rotation and you'll see a lot of formational experiments, because you're not going to get a bunch of friendlies, right? Your friendly time is over outside of the next couple months. So you really don't have a lot of time to develop a second plan, right? If you're going to do this 5-2-3 where you shoot your wing backs up, your wingers come in, play center mid, you overload midfield, tiki-taka, play wide, serve it, whatever. If somebody figures that out and you don't have a plan B, you're done. So you need to develop that quickly, and we don't really have that yet. We had a 4-3-3 against the Costa Rican B team, right? But other than that, there's still a little bit to be bought. And like I said, you need to be able to develop younger players too, right? Because eventually, like I said, if Tyler gets hurt, who's the next guy up? If Hooley goes down with an injury like he's been known to do, we know who the next guy's up, but who's after that? Who's the sub, right? Those guys need to be ready. And that's something a lot of people don't understand about the game of soccer, right? I've got people. So one more side note before we move on to our big one here, right? So I get all the time, my college coach who we interviewed is very big on getting freshman experience in non-league games. You know, if we're playing a team like Cortland, for example, who kick us to the curb every year, or if we play a team like Pitt Brad is usually one of our easier competitions. We will get freshman time in there. So we'll start our starting 11, come out strong, put a good shift in, and then the second half we'll start trying to sprinkle in some younger players so that in the event that we are in tournament time or we're coming up to the clutch where we need to win a few games and somebody gets hurt, they need to be ready. Nobody else really understands this, right? Football, I got a football player and a basketball player telling me that's an awful way to do things. You just go out and try to win every game as best you can. But what they don't get is that you're playing 3 games a week, 90 minutes of straight running, and you gotta train in between then. There's a balance there that a lot of people don't get. So yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that in this octagon cycle so they can try and develop them for the games like Mexico, Costa Rica, Canada, right? Canada is going to be a tough game, tough cycle. But you're going to see in those early games and in a lot of the friendlies leading up to the octagon, you're not going to see McKinney, Pulisic, Adams. You're not going to see those players in there because we know they're in. We need to find out who our bench is going to be so that we know who the next guy up is going to be. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. I'm done. Soapbox down.
And speaking of figuring out who our bench is going to be, segue. The provisional roster for the US's Gold Cup has been released, and we wanted to take a look at it and see if we can narrow it down to our choice of who we would bring on a 23-man roster. So I think I sent you the link, so you should have the list in front of you.
I do, but I'm really confused about it.
Why?
I haven't seen it actually yet. The goalkeeper situation to start.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Definitely is. But I guess again, this is where he thinks, okay, we're gonna have Gold Cup. It's time to get some new faces in and see if they can hold their own.
Yep.
Oh, yikes.
All right, so I have a list here. I'm gonna keep track of who we have so we can keep track of how many guys we've picked already. I have a list of who we want, and then I have a separate list of who we think will go.
Okay, cool.
So starting with the goalkeepers, I think usually they take 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, the 3 that I would take would be Matt Turner, that's a given, Sean Johnson, and I think I would take Bill Hamid as the 3rd.
I knew you were going to say Bill Hamid. I hate you so much.
I'm not against bringing Tim Melia, but I just don't I don't see him getting game time at all. So I don't know. Would you take Tim over Bill? Because I know there's no chance you're bringing Brad.
You know, I was actually thinking about bringing Brad as my 3rd. So if you remember back when it was Tim Howard and Brad Guzan were 1 and 2, number 3 was always like Casey Keller or Brad Friedel, right? Somebody who is old, or, you know, Nick Raimondo for the longest time. Somebody who is older, can be a mentor for these younger players, not just goalkeepers, but younger players in general. That 3rd string goalkeeper was always that guy. So I'm not opposed to bringing Brad at all because he can also play. He's not bad. It's not like he's incapable of being a goalkeeper. Matt Turner is my number 1, clear and obvious. It really is going to depend for me on form at the time of
that's a good point.
Because Hamid, Johnson, and Amelia are all the same for me. And I can't pick one right now. You know I don't like Bill Hamid because he's inconsistent as hell.
Yeah.
Sean Johnson just let in one of the easiest goals I've ever seen last week. Now, Gustavo Bo hit a rocket of a volley from 20 yards out. It went right here, and he missed it. Now, I haven't seen Tim Melia play a ton, but SKC's up there, right?
They are. They are in second place.
Right, and
Granted,
I know he didn't play.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying I know he didn't play all of it because he's been hurt, which is why it's probably going to be between Bill Hamid and Sean Johnson. Because of that, it's probably going to be Sean Johnson, because Bill Hamid. No.
Yeah. The one thing I would say on SKC is they do have the joint most goals allowed in the West right now, despite them being second. But, to some credit of what you said, he wasn't playing what feels like majority of the time. But, yeah, I mean, especially if he's coming back from an injury,
yeah,
I don't think that he'll necessarily be the guy. So I think I'm on board with you there. I think I'm on board with Turner, Johnson, and then Brad.
Yeah, I think Brad's going to be number 3 no matter what happens. Whoever 1 and 2 is, or whoever 2 is, we know who 1 is, or at least we better know who 1 is. Otherwise,
I sure hope so.
Got some things to answer.
Yeah.
All right, so the easy choices out of the way. Now we go to our defenders.
Yep.
So I'm thinking usually what we'll do is we'll take 4 center backs and then 3 outside backs. So it'll be an outside back to start on either side and then somebody to fill in. And then you'll always have one of those center backs who's able to play as an outside back as well. So you're looking at players like Miles Robinson or actually that's maybe Eric Palmer Brown. I know he's played a little bit outside there.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at center backs, I think Robinson has probably, or Zimmerman's probably a shoo-in to make it.
I think so too.
And I don't have any problems with that personally.
Sure, I'm with you there.
I think Robinson probably also has a good chance to make it.
If he's healthy.
Yeah, if he's
healthy. That's a big one for me. I think he needs to be healthy. I know he's been playing, but he missed a lot of last year, so just something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, I would love to see Henry Kessler in this team. I don't know about you.
Me too. Big fan of Henry Kessler. I am. I think he's earned a spot after his rookie year, and I think the 4th one has to be Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's currently on loan from Tottenham right now, but he's already getting offers from like a Newcastle and one other team that's kind of lower in the Prem right now. The man can play, but nobody talks about him because he's not the first division. Cameron Carter-Vickers is probably in. I think he's also one of our better center backs playing the ball out from the back. If you watched him play in his brief stints with the men's national team, he's always the guy who picks the ball up, carries it into that midfield line, and tries to break lines with these big, 30, 40-yard ground passes. And that's something that Aaron Long was pretty good at until he got hurt. So I think they're going to try and pick something out of that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's who I would.
Yep. Outside backs. Any thoughts on outside?
Kyle Duncan's got to be there. And
I agree.
And I know that'll sound, homery to a bunch of people, but Kyle Duncan's our best right back in that group right now.
No, I agree with you.
No, he's not. Reggie Cannon's in that group. He's our second best right back. I think Reggie Cannon also comes.
Yeah.
And I think Arujo probably goes too. I know he likes Arujo for that attacking spot. Now, who else can we play on the left there?
Yeah, that's my question. I know you said they typically
you can play Duncan
3.
on the left.
Okay.
You can play Duncan on the left, but Sam Vines is also in there. I think Sam Vines has to make that list.
Yeah,
So what is it? Is it 24 players?
I think it's 23.
23. Okay. So that's already 11. So
Yeah.
if we were to
This
pick
is
Sam
this is tough.
Vines,
This is tough. I think Sam
but
Vines has got to be on this list.
I think Sam Vines has to be there too. So if we're looking at Sam Vines, do we drop a center back? Do you think maybe somebody like Henry Kessler doesn't make it? I wouldn't be shocked if Henry Kessler doesn't make this team. I think he should, but I think
Yeah,
he's
well, let's go through the list of guys that we think should be there, and then we can go through who we think will be there.
All right, so who we want there versus who will be there, type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do I want there? My 7 would be, Cannon, Carter Vickers, Justin Shea to get a cap, so we can cap tie him. Duncan, Kessler. So what is that? Arujo, Cannon, Carter Vickers, Duncan, Shea, Kessler, Zimmerman, and then that would leave Miles Robinson and Sam Vines are my kind of like on the fence there. So I think what's going to happen here is he's going to take Justin Shea to play in the first game where we get a 3-goal lead, cap tie him, and never see the field again. But that means somebody's going to have to drop, and I think Henry Kessler is going to drop.
Is there any risk of him going to another national team?
I don't know, but we're the United States. There's always somebody with dual citizenship somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably fair. But if there isn't that concern, then you probably don't have to worry to rush to cap tie him.
I have some weird feeling he's got. He's got like German citizenship or something.
Okay, so I lost track of who you had. I'm going to make a separate column.
Go ahead. I will read for you. Do you have the goalkeepers down? I think we're both good on goalkeepers.
Yeah. Goalkeepers is fine. And then, okay, so you had
he
Zimmerman.
He's got German citizenship.
Okay. So you had Zimmerman, Shea. I think you had Carter Vickers. You had Reggie, Kyle. And then there's still 2 spots. Did you said you were on the fence about Robinson and Vines?
If I were to do it, I think who do I want? I want Cannon, Carter Vickers, Shea, Duncan, Kessler, Vines, and Zimmerman. Those are my 7. Who do I think is going to go? I think it's going to be Arujo, Cannon, Carter Vickers, Palmer Brown, Zimmerman, Robinson, and Vines. I think are going to be the one. I think Shaq Moore gets left out. I think Kyle Duncan gets left out. I think Justin Shea. I'm going to say Justin Shea gets left out.
Okay.
What about you?
I think I'll probably differ a little bit here. I think I would go with Zimmerman. I would go with Cameron Carter Vickers. I'd probably also go with Justin Shea. And then in that 4th center back spot, I'm going to go with James Sands.
Ooh, I like that.
Even if they don't end up playing him as a center back, I think it would be nice for him to get some time in the midfield. Try to like we said, we kind of feel he's a good option as a backup to Tyler Adams. I think this would be a good opportunity for him. And then for wingbacks, I think I would probably go with the same three as well. I think I'd go Duncan, Cannon, and Vines. So I think my only change compared to you is just Kessler versus James Sands.
Yeah. I think Kessler wins that anyway, because I said so. Okay, midfielders.
Yep, midfielders.
I'll let you go first. This is going to be tough.
It is going to be tough. So the guys that I would take, I'm going to say right off the bat, Caden Clark for sure.
Yep.
I'd say Andres Perea. I want to see what he can do. And
This
because
is who you want?
Yeah, this is who I want.
Okay. So what are we doing? We did 3, then we did 7. That leaves 13 players for midfield forwards, so 7-6.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now I have Clark and then Perea. I'd like to see Busio. I would like to see. I think this one might be a little bit. You know what? I'd want to see Roldan. This one might be a little more outside the box, but I think I'd want to see Cole Bassett.
No, I'm cool with that.
And how many do I have right now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 3 left. I think I'd want to see Jordy.
That's 6 for you. Bassett, Busio, Clark, Roldan, Perea, and now Jordy.
Bassett, Busio, Clark. Bassett, Busio, Clark, Roldan, and Jordy. That's 5.
You said Perea as well.
Oh, you're right. I accidentally took him out.
I know. I'm always right.
And Perea. And then I have 1 left. I don't want Yule. Oh, I think I'll go Tanner Tessman as the last one.
Okay.
So I got Clark, Busio, Roldan, Bassett, Mihailovic, Perea, Tessman.
So let me tell you how you're wrong.
Okay.
Here's who you want.
Okay.
You want Busio, you want Clark. You want Perea. You want Roldan. You want Hassani Dotson. You want Leon Flack, who has been an absolute tank.
Yeah, I'm okay with Leon Flack.
Absolute tank for Philadelphia this year. And I'm on a coin flip between Tanner Tessman and Cole Bassett. I also want to put an honorable mention for Julian Green.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
I don't know if he makes it. I don't know what Gruther Firth has been doing in the German second division. I'll be honest with you. It has just slipped my radar, and I can't tell you if he's done well or not.
I feel like I've heard good things about him, and you got to figure he's got to be playing better if he's back in the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. And I gotta let me see something.
I didn't even realize Sonny Dotson's with Dallas now. I
He's
didn't realize he left Minnesota.
No, he's on Minnesota. What do you mean?
It says he's Dallas.
What? No, they messed that up.
Did they?
Yeah.
I guess that's why I was confused.
Yeah, no, he's still on Minnesota. I don't know what they did, but if Hassani Dotson was on Dallas, they would not be this bad.
Okay, so then you said you're between a coin flip for the last one. Between who?
Tessman and Bassett, I think. Is that who I said? Tessman and Bassett?
I don't remember who you said, but
I'm gonna go. Yeah, give me Tanner Tessman just for the fun of it.
Sure.
You know what's really funny is Eric Williamson's on this list, and I just went out and made 3 weeks ago, made a whole big thing about how he's never played with the men's national team.
I know. You made a big deal about me saying that he would be in the conversation, and here he is in the conversation.
All right, relax.
Yeah, it's tough to pick from the midfield. I mean, either way, you're going to leave some guys off. And to be honest with you, I think there's a whole list of guys that we did not choose that are probably going to end up making this team.
Oh, yeah. So who do I think is going to make it? Kellen
Legit.
Acosta. Kellen
Acosta.
I think Kellen Acosta, Busio, Clark are in. I think Leget's in.
Yep.
I think Jordy's in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think Jackson Ewell's in. Which would absolutely, Jackson Ewell is easily becoming the new
I think I might have. What did you say? He's becoming what?
The new Michael Bradley. Every time you see him, you're like,
no. He's like the new Will Trapp. Because he'll just make it every time, but he doesn't play every game like Bradley did. But he always takes up a roster spot. I think I missed a guy in there. I'm assuming you probably said Roldan, right?
I said Roldan, yeah.
Okay, that was the one I was missing. Okay, so then the ones we think will be there: Clark, Busio, Leggett, Mihailovic, Ewell, Roldan, and Acosta. Oh, that hurts my soul.
I know.
Okay. I think if I were going to change my list at all, I definitely would like to I think I would take Bassett out and put Leon Flock in there.
Yeah. Flock,
I know you didn't put him on your list, but I'd genuinely like to see Jordy Mihailovic play there because I feel like he's taking a step up with Montreal and kind of becoming a creative piece there and like a more of a focal point. So I want to see him some national team experience.
No, I don't disagree with that. Hold on, my computer is on the fritz here.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some good choices here in the midfield. The problem is just that we see a lot of these common names that we've been seeing regularly that I don't think we want to see in this list. Not that it's anything against the guys that are on there. It's just I feel like we've seen them a number of times now, and then there's a whole list of guys here that we haven't seen yet.
No, there is definite things against guys on that list that I do not want to see them play. I don't want to see Jackson Ewell play at 6 anymore. I just don't want it. Like you say, it's nothing against them. It's everything against them. I don't want to see them play there.
There's just nothing against him as a person.
Oh, as a person, no, I'm sure he's a great dude. Can't play the 6. It's just straight facts. Okay, so who do we think is going to be there? We already went through.
Yep.
Forwards.
Okay.
Who do I want to see? Cade Cowell is on there again, but this time he plays for San Jose. Just kidding. I was thinking about Caden Clark. The CC got me. It's been a long day. Leave me alone.
Hold on. Time out. Why the heck is Frankie Miles?
I saw that too. No. What we really should say is why is Memo Rodriguez from Houston listed as a forward here?
Who knows?
So here's who I want to see. 6 players. Josie Altidore. Just kidding.
Funny.
Give me Cade Cowell. Give me Daryl DK. Give me Matthew Hope. I think he's earned it. Give me Jonathan Lewis. That's 4. Give me Ricardo Pepi. And give me Mason Toy for Adam.
That's very nice of you. Okay. Daryl DK 100% is going to be my team. That is not a question. And then I would absolutely love to see Cade Cowell in this team. That would be so fun. Imagine a team. He runs out a team against like Martinique, and we got Caden Clark out there, Gianluca Busio, Tanner Tessman, Cade Cowell, Justin Shea.
Imagine him playing a 4-4-2 and the front 2 is Cade Cowell, 17 years old, built like he's 40, and DK. Just straight up taking these Martinique defenders and putting them through the floor. Oh man,
love to see it
directly to my veins.
Yes.
Like, I don't care if we didn't do anything that game. I just got to see those two run at a bunch of defenders for 90 minutes.
Okay, so I got DK and Cowell. I'm gonna take Frankie Amaya, but I wouldn't play him as an attacker. I'd probably play him in the midfield. I would love to see some Frankie action.
I've watched Frankie enough this year. I don't think he earned it, but that's just me.
I want Chris Mueller.
Yeah, that's a good one. I missed him. He wasn't highlighted in blue. That's why I missed him. But I'm cool with that. I think if I were to make a change, I would probably drop Hope from Mueller, because I need somebody to play on the right side where Jordan Lewis is playing on the left.
Yeah,
that's an inside joke for people before you start getting angry at me because I got his name wrong and unprofessional. Losers.
I would like to see. It's a tough one. All right, winger wise, I really only have. Well, does Cade kind of play? I don't remember if Cade plays on the wing for San Jose.
Cade can play on the wing, but I want to play him up top and just run people to the ground. But
Mueller,
yeah, Cade will play on the wing.
Ricardo Pepe, definitely want him in there. Yeah. And I got one spot left.
You know who it has to be.
I'm thinking about Hope.
You're thinking about Golden Boot winner Giassi Zardes.
No, he'll be on the who we think will go.
Who is going to go anyway? Him, Josie's going to pull Michael Bradley out. They're all going to play forward.
I definitely I don't think I want to see Robbie Robinson.
Nope, I'm out on Robbie Robinson. Rubio Rubin can stay away too. He's been good, but not national team good.
I'm not here. I don't think I would pick Memo.
No, Corey Baird, same thing. Good, but not national team good.
Yeah. I have probably enough strikers on here that I don't think I'd want to go for someone probably who could play on the wing. So I don't think I'd go Zardes, and I don't think I'd go Toy then. So I'm between Jonathan Lewis. I think Jebo can play on the wing.
Paul Arriola.
A little bit. Yeah, Paul Arriola. But I've seen so much of him.
Yeah. You got to remember, you're taking a team that needs to win.
True, but I think these guys can win.
I sure hope so.
I'm going to go Jonathan Lewis.
Daryl DK will win on his own.
I'll go Jonathan Lewis, my last one.
That's a good one. Who do I think is going to be there? I don't think Josie's going to make it because he has not been playing. I don't think Gregg is stupid enough to take him. And if he is, Canada's just a quick drive away. I don't know what to tell you. If Josie Altidore makes this team, I don't know if I'm watching the Gold Cup. And I'm only half kidding about that. Like, I don't think I could watch Josie Altidore play again. Who do I think is going to make it? I think Paul Arriola makes it. Gregg loves a bit of Paul Arriola.
Yeah.
I think DK makes it.
Yep.
I think Jebo makes it. Not Jebo, I'm sorry. Giacchini makes it because there's always one guy you've never heard of, Sibachu, for example. So Giacchini makes it. I think Hope makes it. And then I think he goes Chris Mueller and Jonathan Lewis. I think the rest of them and Zardes maybe. I think if we're going to do anything, I think Hope gets dropped for Zardes, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think Hope probably gets dropped for Zardes. So then you said
Mueller. He started off really hot and then disappeared, didn't he?
Yeah, I feel like he had like that time period. I think he scored that hat trick and then Schalke finally won a game or something like that. And then he trickled in a couple more goals and then I just never heard anything about him for the rest of the time.
Yeah, 20 years old, rated at $4.5 million by Transfer Market. His games this year, he had 3 against Hoffenheim. Then he scored 1 against Frankfurt and then 1 against Cologne. And that was 5 goals in 3 games. And then he just ghosted the rest of the season until the second last game where he scored again against Frankfurt.
So I think he'll probably take Zardes over him.
I think so too. I mean, Zardes is already up for Golden Boy over Holland anyway, so that's another inside joke. We'll explain that in a little bit.
I think the screenshot said like 32 goals or something like that.
It was like 27 to 24 or 32 to 27 or something like that. It was stupid.
Okay, so quick thing before we end. If you were going to put together a team right now that's got to go against Mexico in the final based off of the ones you wanted, not the who you think will go, the ones you wanted, you got the final, 1-game final against Mexico. Who's going to be playing? Who's starting that game for you?
Matt Turner is going to go. Let's go 4-3-3. Matt Turner, Cannon, Carter Vicker, Zimmerman, Duncan on the left. Midfield of Christian Roldan and Gianluca Busio. With a forward. Oh, and I need a third midfielder. Give me Caden Clark going forward. And then a strike force of who did I bring there? I brought Toy. Give me DK up top, flanked by Lewis and who was the other one who else did I bring? Cowell? Yeah, give me Kate Cowell on the other side.
Interesting. Going with Kate Cowell and a must win.
Absolutely. I think it's probably a bad choice, and that's why I'm not managing the U.S. men's national team, but here we are.
Yeah.
So this was who we wanted, right? So I couldn't take Mueller because I didn't take him. This is who I want team.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think for my team, if I'm going in the same formation, I'd probably go Turner in the back. The back four would be Cannon, Zimmerman, CCV. I said that wrong. And then I'd probably go Sam Vines left back.
I took Sam Vines, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably could have played him there, but I think Duncan on left's probably a better two-way player anyway.
Yeah. And then midfield 3, I wanted to make sure I had someone defensively in there, so I went with Roldan and Perea. And then Caden Clark in front of them. And then in the front 3, I had Mueller, DK, and Lewis.
Yeah. The wing options are what's going to hurt us here. I don't think our wingers are super strong, which is why I think Paul Ariel is going to go, and why I think you're probably only going to see 3 true strikers in that list of 6. So I think Paul Ariel is going to make this team, but yeah, like I said, the wingers are going to be the toughest part, which is why I think really what you're going to see is players like Busio and Caden Clark are going to get a lot more minutes than you think. And if Mihailovic goes, same thing, because what you notice, do I have a pen here?
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I also forgot I took James Sands. So I'm going to take out Perea and put in Sands in the midfield.
That's a good call. All right, hold on one sec before we. So if we are what we like to do as a country, right? So this is your 9, this is your goalkeeper here, right? So this is our formation we're just talking about, right? You see that little 4-3-3. What we like to end up doing is bringing we call them 7 and 11s for those of us who don't have too much soccer knowledge. If we can't get our outside backs up, I don't know. Can you see that?
I could see a 7. That's it.
Okay. Because I can't see my camera from here. Okay, hold on. There we go. How's that? Better. So what
am I supposed to see the whole thing?
No, just this front part here.
Okay. Yep.
So what we tend to do is take our 7s and 11s, those are our wingers, and we bring them in as center midfielders. That's what you see Pulisic and Reina doing all the time. And what we do is we take our 10 and our 8, which are in this case Caden Clark and Roldan or Busio or anybody like that, and play them wide. So if Gregg's got a brain, which is still up in the air, he's going to play people like Caden Clark and Busio and Mihailovic and players who are technically good, quick feet, who can play winger if they need to. What his mistake was early on in the Honduras game was he was playing players like Sebastian Lletget in that spot. Sebastian Lletget is a great number 8. But when you play him in a system where he needs to go wide and be a winger, it's not successful. So if this is the way he wants to do things, great. He's got to play Busio and Clark. Now, if this isn't working and we end up getting our wing backs high, and the number 10 plays like a false 9, 8 slides in, and then your 7 and 10 still going that way. You want to have players like Sebastian Lletget. You want to have players like maybe Julian Green, in Yemen, Roldan, Tessman, players who are naturally more midfield oriented, who can keep the ball, find those small pockets of space to get in and turn and play, and don't necessarily need to be good on the wings. So that is the coaching decision I think we need to watch from him. And it's something that I noticed during the Honduras game, and it was something I was going to bring up before we moved on. But very quickly, we need to understand what's going to work for us. Is getting our wingbacks high and our wingers in going to work, or our wingers coming in and our midfielders going wide? Is that what's going to work? Those are the two that you see most often, and that's something you're going to need to pick up quickly on what is going to work. And then from there, you make your personnel change, right? You got 5 subs, use them. If you're going to use your wingbacks, get them high, get Kyle Duncan in there, get Reggie Cannon in there. If you're going to use your midfielders to get wide, go ahead and get Busio in there, get Clark in there, get people who are fit and technical and quick to get into good spots like that. It's that simple. So you have to have a good balance of both of those. We'll see what he comes up with.
Yep.
And that's coaching lesson of the day.
One quick thing I wanted to do before we wrap things up. I know we did our team of like, if we had a final, but I think I put together a little team of, I'll call it my my dream team that I think would be the most fun to watch play. From the guys that I picked, I had Turner in goal. That's an obvious one. I had Cannon on the right, Justin Shea and Cameron Carter-Vickers at center back. I had Duncan on the left. And then instead of going for a 4-3-3, I went for a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. So no wingers in this one. I had James Sands at the defensive spot. I had Tessman and Amaya as the 2 midfielders, and then Caden Clark at the cam, and then DK and Cowell up top.
That's right there, like right here, right into my vein.
I mean, that would be ridiculous.
I don't care what the score would be. I would have so much fun watching that game.
I mean, if you're sending that team out, that game's like 17-0 to the U.S. Anyways, it's
17-0, like the record that the Jets are going to have this year.
I mean, I'm going to ignore that comment and say, tell me who's possibly stopping Cade Cowell and Daryl DK. Like, nobody. You can send
no Austin, no rules FIFA.
You could send Virgil van Dijk and Ruben Diaz, and they're not stopping those 2.
See, that's the type of mindset we need to have. I like that. I can't wait to text Matt and let him know that you are on the hype train. Jet up, baby. But other than that, you got anything else you can add?
I don't, but my reference was not for the Jets. So
it definitely was. You had 17-0 in your head, and you spit it out into the podcast. I see how you're joining the hype train. All right, guys. Well, that is it. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. We had a good little bit of fun with that. A USMNT video, not something we get out very often. Hopefully by next week, we will have the knockout tournament between all of the MLS team best 11s. We are finishing that up now. And then the week after that, hopefully we'll be starting our interviews. So stick around for all of those. Make sure you subscribe if you want to hear some of those, wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on all forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, because we started posting there again because I'm awesome. Go ahead and make sure you follow us over there so you can get all of our clips, so you can catch little snippets if you can't catch the whole episode. And we love the interaction, man. You guys on Reddit are being really good with your interactions on these teams, and we really appreciate all of that. So make sure you keep following along. And unless there's anything else to say, that's another episode of the Designated Players Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode. Designated Players Podcast. See ya.